Today we're talking all about axial SCX24 upgrades to boost raw driving performance, or maybe realistic looks, or perhaps both. Many of the upgrades that we're going to talk about today we have here, and we'll be installing them on our SCX24 so you guys can see what they look like. Now, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's do it. Now, in the year or so that the SCX24 has been released, it's gained a lot of popularity as a very capable, inexpensive crawler that you can play with indoor or outdoor, and pretty much anyone can use it. And although the SCX24 may look like a toy, it's a proper hobby-grade RC vehicle with not only all of the replacement parts available, but with a growing list of upgrades and accessories made specifically for the platform. So this is a great time to run through some of those upgrades, as well as the customization options, and to start transforming our truck. Now, before we begin, it needs to be said that some of the upgrades are intended for specific SCX24 body styles, because there's quite a few of them. So if you have a Chevy C10, the roof rack intended for the Jeep Wrangler is probably not going to work on your truck. So it's just something to keep in mind when browsing accessories. All right, the very first set of items that we're going to talk about today are all about boosting performance, which can be achieved in a few different ways. One of the most popular methods to achieve this with trail trucks is to simply lower the center of gravity of the truck so the tires stay planted on the surface and the truck rolls over less often. Thankfully, there's a company out there called Hot Racing, and they make tons of accessories for the SCX24, including weighted brass parts that are going to help your truck stay tire side down. Now, for instance, these brass wheels weigh 40 grams or 1.4 ounces each. They may not look realistic, but they will boost stability and performance. These brass wheel weights are also popular, but they need to be used with the axial KMC machete wheels. Other options include these brass differential covers with or without the skid plate. There are also brass steering knuckles that will bolt right on, as well as these brass 7mm wheel hexes for a little extra weight. Now, for our truck, we opted for the brass diff covers on the front and rear, and then added the brass steering knuckles. This extra weight over the front axle should give our front tires a bit more bite when climbing. If you don't want to go too crazy adding brass weights, I understand. Aluminum upgrades could be a great alternative, and unlike plastic, aluminum will not flex. And for the SCX24, you can get the entire axles in aluminum, the skid plate in aluminum, the links, the transfer case, various mounts, and this great looking bumper with red D-rings in aluminum. Aluminum is a little heavier than the plastic material too, so there's going to be a little bit of a weight gain with those aluminum parts, but it's not nearly as heavy as those brass parts will be. But it is going to be stronger and more rigid than both the plastic and the brass, which makes it a perfect material for these Hot Racing optional reservoir aluminum shocks. Now, the reservoir on these shocks is only for looks, but the shocks do operate on a small amount of fluid, and they look great. Another area to boost performance are going to be with the vehicle's tires and the wheels, and up until recently, there weren't other options to choose from aside from what Axial offered. And for the wheels, they were just plastic, glue-on styled wheels with a few different styles to choose from. But if we look at RC 4-wheel drive, they have some really impressive offerings for real metal beadlock wheels. And I'm talking the Stamp Steel 1.0 beadlocks. Now, these wheels are available in black or white. They look realistic, and they use a plastic hex hub that's screwed directly to the wheel. These are proper wheels, just like you'd find on the larger trail trucks, and they'll bolt right onto the SCX24. Now, a few notes about these wheels. They're heavier than the stock plastic wheels that come on the truck, which is another effort that will slowly lower the center of gravity. Also, these wheels work best with RC 4-wheel drive 1.0 tires. If you try to put an axial tire on these wheels, it probably won't fit. And then lastly, these wheels feature a slight offset, so those wheels are going to be pushed out a little bit wider in the truck, and that should aid in stability. Now, here's the stock wheel offset on the left and the RC 4-wheel drive wheel on the right. You can see the offset is there, but it's pretty minimal. There's another crawler company out there called SSD, and they're working on SCX24 wheels too, but they're not available yet, so we don't have them, but that will be something to keep an eye out on in the future. Now for our truck, we opted for the RC 4-wheel drive wheels for that real beadlock look and the extra weight we can naturally add. Since we need RC 4-wheel drive tires for these wheels, options include the Super Swampers, the Rock Crushers, and the Rock Creepers. Now we ended up choosing the more aggressive looking Super Swampers fitted onto the white beadlocks, which seems kind of silly to have white wheels on a truck that might be doing some mudding, but we just thought it looked cool. Now the only negative thing I can say about these tires is that they're just a slight shorter diameter than the stock axial tires. Now that shorter tire will effectively lower our truck slightly, which lowers our center of gravity, but that shorter tire will also kind of remove a little bit of our ground clearance underneath our axles that the larger axial tires offered us. So there's a little bit of a give and take there. Now the last performance item is this Emax Mini 12-gram servo. This servo is more powerful than the stock axial servo and is a great option when you need more steering power for extreme crawling or when you've added a lot of weight to the front end and now your stock servo is struggling. This Emax servo will remedy that. Moving on from our performance items, let's talk about our scale accessories, which don't necessarily boost performance per se, but they definitely enhance our looks and styling. For those with the Chevy C10 body styles, you'll be happy to see that the inner fender set from RC 4-wheel drive will bolt right up on your truck and it seals up those wheel wells underneath the body for a more realistic, completely blacked out look. How about over those rocks? Do you need more protection? These rock sliders are great for that C10 body style, but for the other SCX24 styles, rock sliders are offered in this style A and also this style B. We ended up not going with any of the rock sliders, but we did choose some of these popular accessories. Here we have the RC 4-wheel drive exhaust snorkel, and it bolts right on with one screw. And these are the side mirrors that include the reflective decals. All of these RC 4-wheel drive accessories are 3D printed so they can be painted pretty easily, and they're very lightweight, which is really crucial when you examine the RC 4-wheel drive roof racks. Normally adding weight to the very top point of your body is gonna raise your center of gravity and goes against everything we talked about at the beginning of this video. But since the roof rack is so lightweight and we don't plan on putting anything in there, the extra weight on the top of the body should be very minimal. And unless you have the Jeep Wrangler SCX24, it doesn't really matter because that's the only body style that'll work with these roof racks, which also means we had to add one to our truck. Now there are 3 variations of this roof rack. There's the standalone roof rack, there's a roof rack with the light buckets, which are not functional, and then there's a roof rack with the light buckets and a ladder so you can climb up. Another really cool upgrade for the Jeep Wrangler body styles of trucks are going to be these RC 4-wheel drive working headlights. This headlight set includes the 3D printed headlight insert, the lenses, and the LEDs. Now these lights install easily and they plug right into the ESC receiver unit located at the front of the truck. That was a lot of SCX24 upgrade options and accessories, but it certainly wasn't all of them. Looking at our truck, it didn't take a whole lot to transform this box stock truck into a more adventurous and capable crawler. Guys, if you want to check out any of these upgrades or the entire SCX24 parts category at AMain Hobbies, we'll put links down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and leave us any questions or comments down below. I'm Brett from AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.